have continuity. The whole world is undergoing a credit crunch.
Yeah.
The difference between Uganda and other countries is for us to talk about it, and the president doesn't talk about it. Other countries don't talk about it.
Yeah.
If you realize previously, we've been able to get through our manager because of his social capital.
Yeah.
Santul would get money and teams to travel. Even when the government has given them money,
yeah,
the team has traveled. Then the government will pay slowly, and then clear that. But right now, this was facing everywhere, and this is the time where we also got Olympics coming through.
Yeah.
As football, we submitted our budgets for all our calendar submitted there. But you understand right now, financially, everything's been cut down for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
We had to struggle. And so remember, on a basketball, she was to travel. Everyone wants to travel.
Yeah.
But the key thing is ownership of everybody. Like I can tell you, under 16, 4 days to the team traveling.
Yeah.
When you go to the boys can't travel because of social capital which we have. And I was able to reach one of the parents who is whose son was playing under 16, who's the captain under 16.
Yeah.
And because of that, she said, "No way, my boy can be in the camp for these few days, but also a few days. They're only there for the boys actually did only 3 days camp. So because there was no money, and I'm not sure if the government is going to give you or not, because of everything going on, preparation becomes very poor. And if you've seen before the lockdown, which other things we had before, our teams have been preparing. And if you've seen, we're taking over the Kenyan national team, all those in the region.
Yeah.
Rwanda is in Afro, first of all, because they're hosting. But Uganda, we have to go through the hard way to be there. That's something which is very key for us. So the key thing, what I'm talking about, what I'm requesting is all stakeholders in Uganda. Coca-Cola, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Hima Cement, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Shell, all these banks, they make money in Uganda, a lot of money in Uganda.
Yeah.
Their willingness to give back to community. I know we can, through the sports development, we can ask the government that whoever is giving support in the sports area, we give back. Maybe can get a tax holiday. So there we'll have continuity.
For hygiene, because impression is key.
Yeah.
Remember, you're serving coffee. Coffee is so simple. If you, I don't know if you have some coffee cups here. I will show this. You can find a very small cup, and you have to do a pour over there.
Yeah.
So if you're dirty, you have to, you have to be so hygienic.
Yeah.
Where you work from, the way you present yourself.
Yeah.
Are you attractive? You yourself, you're the first marketeer.
Yeah, true.
Of your coffee. Yeah. Because people may come to the station and they maybe they have never taken coffee. Does that mean you will never sell your coffee? No. But if you present yourself well, you tell some people you look nice, you dress well, you smell well, they can even give you audience.
Yeah.
You talk to them about the coffee and the advantages.
Yeah.
Convince them, but you not convince somebody when you're stinking, you're looking shabby.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can allow you brew their coffee when you're ramshackled.
True.
Your personal hygiene, the sanitation at your station, it really matters a lot.
Yeah.
And there is no excuse for that.
like I said, I'm still learning. I don't think I'm ready to be a CEO yet.
Yes.
Well, so for me, I could say bring the perspective of someone who has gone through the challenges.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been on the side of someone that needs to get their documents. Yeah. And I've also been on the verification end. Yeah. So I really understand the pain points from a personal perspective. And I think for me, that's what drives me. Yeah. Because I know that challenge. Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. And that basically drives me to push, drives me to better explain, what the product does. Because sometimes, even when you get into spaces, people just think, oh, you've just got this product, you don't understand what it does, you don't really understand the challenges. But as someone who understands the challenges, I'm able to better explain what the product brings on the table from a personal perspective. So I think that's been a success. And the fact that we have managed to get partners here is a huge
Okay.
success. It's a huge success. When something is new, it's very difficult for people to hop onto it. Yeah. And if people get onto it, sometimes it's usually for the wrong reasons. Yes. But when you actually find people that that believe in it, that want to work with you to keep improving it, that want to work with you to keep having that feedback to improve the product, it is a big plus. It's a big plus because you could build a product, put so much time and money into it, and it's not used by anyone.
Wow. Which we have seen before.
It's a reality. Yeah. But the fact that, our product is out there and it is changing lives, because for us, that's the end goal. Yeah. Yes, money is important in business, but we also want to change lives. Yeah. We also want to meet challenges, and that is also our end goal. And seeing our product out there and doing what it's supposed to do is my. Wow. It's a success.
Wow.
What can the men do, to promote women's sports or basketball for that matter?
Yes, so today morning, someone told me, he made research, actually my brother, that these days the NBA actually facilitates the WNBA games to see that they're also somewhere. How about the NBL men starts doing something, not totally like investing in and all that, but it can be with the support system. It can be one very good thing, seeing that creating more opportunities for these ladies, putting up different games like, so as like women can be like seen or showing that these guys also like care. It can start with support, and then with time they can also like recommend whoever facilitates them to like partially have his thoughts somewhere on the women's team, so that like they can all go about like together, in solidarity. I think that can work. I don't think it's something big. It can start with support and then financially with time.
This one is called manual brewing. This is gravity manual brewing.
Yeah.
It's part of specialty.
Oh.
So we've been talking about specialty. Specialty came and introduced to us manual brewing, 2 methods of brewing. Okay. That's the main difference between specialty and commercial.
Yeah.
In specialty cafes, you'll find people, baristas doing manual brewing.
Okay.
In commercial, they'll be doing only machine, espresso machine.
Okay.
That's another method. And this is another method. So
Okay.
we do this one manually. What's the main point of manual brewing? And what is our expectations?
Yeah.
Why do we make manual brewing? What's the difference between this and the normal coffee?
Yeah.
First of all, it's not about making strong coffee, making whatever. No, we can make manual brewed coffee a very nice one.
Yeah.
What we are looking for is optimum balance.
Okay.
Shouldn't be bitter, shouldn't be too acidic, should be balanced.
Okay.
So someone should drink coffee and enjoy only that.
Yeah. Let's pull up the camera.
The Bite of Benin in Kampala, what is it about? What are you serving? Why the Bite of Benin? Tell us more about this restaurant.
Okay. First of all, the name Bite of Benin, we were deliberate about the name, right? It's a play on the word to bite, but there's actually a body of water called the Bite of Benin, which is situated within the greater Gulf of Guinea on the coast of West Africa. So it's either called the
That's
Bite...
the only time I learned the only thing I respect from my history. These other things I don't respect. Because now you're talking about, yes,
So it's either the Bite or the Bay of Benin, but we named it Bite of Benin, and it's always a great conversation starter, right? So our intention is to offer food across the 16 West African countries, right? We have foods that are common to us. We have the jollof rice, we'll talk about that. We have the different sauces. So what you'll find is maybe slight differences in the technique or some of the ingredients used.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what the Bite of Benin is all about.
Yes.
Why did you decide to put this restaurant in Kampala, not anywhere else?
First, we're based here in Uganda, but more importantly, we wanted to set up a place where you would come in and explore West African food. So the Bite of Benin is not just about food. Our plan actually is to have it as a center where you will have the arts, so music, spoken word, poetry, artists, painters, sort of like a gallery also, showcasing what we have in West Africa. That is the overall plan for the Bite of Benin. So it's not just about food, but actually bringing West Africa to Uganda, to East Africa. Yeah.
coffee industry is very wide, it's very big, it's very full of opportunities. Don't sit there and say, I have nothing to do. You can join the industry. You can get whatever you want. If you give it time, invest in it. By giving it time, don't look for money. Don't look for big salary at first. First learn. After learning, you'll get how much amount you need. Yeah. In coffee industry, there's no like, barista should get this amount of money. No, it depends on your knowledge. Yeah. What you know is what you get. You cannot be like having junior experience and asking for experienced one. No. You can join now. Good thing. Everything is simple. Yeah. It's easy. Don't sit there and say, oh no, I'm scared to join this. No, it's very simple. You can make. Yeah, it's very simple. It's not so difficult. Simple, very simple, very enjoyable. You can do everything when you're enjoying. You can do your coffee. You can serve your customers. Coffee create friendship. Yeah. Coffee gives you a job. Even if you are not working in a cafe, maybe you can go in different field, but still in coffee industry. Yeah. Yes.
Let's put up the camera.
My first advice to my students, the people I train, the people I talk to, is that at every stage of coffee, from the farm to the cup, you can gain something. So I first get to know, like, you as you, what's your passion? Is it going to the garden? Is it going to the factory? Or is it like being a supplier? First of all, we are working for people. We're working for people. But our dreams are being self-employed. Yes. So in coffee, if I'm mentoring you, if like I want you to get something good, improve on your life, me, I can pass through roasting. I can teach you how, like I can teach you or train you the part of coffee roasting. So within that process, you like will be making some money somewhere. And where does that money comes from? You buy your coffee, you roast, you pack it, and you sell. Of course, there are many cafes that are opening. We have our organizations here in Uganda, like they are boosting up the consumption. We have business people that are starting up cafes, but there is that gap. There's that gap of supply. There's that gap of supply. Big companies are exporting, but we can also be the big company at our youth stage. We roast our coffee, we pack it, and we sell it. Let me take another example. You can be a good person in computer graphic designing. So when I introduce that idea, you can plan the way of branding that coffee, how we can market that coffee. Yes. So we can at the end of the process, me and you will be having something to put in the pocket or to save on the account.
It's another good day to have coffee. Welcome to House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. This is the Coffee Break Show. Remember, you can catch us live. The show is live right now on our YouTube channel at House of Talent Uganda live stream. Or you can head down to our Twitter handle, that is at HTV1. Or if you're on Facebook, you can also catch us at House of Talent Uganda. That is on Facebook. Make sure to share the show. Far and wide, send us your comments. If you have questions, if you have any remarks, let us know. On today's show, the Messiah is back. And I'm not talking about the second coming of Jesus. I'm talking about the coming back of the Coffee Messiah, the original guy on the show. He's back with us here today. And for those who are wondering who the Messiah is, none other than Mr. Amon Rukisa.
Hey, man.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, man.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but we've been in touch.
Yeah, we've been in touch.
Yeah.
I think you are out, getting converts and, getting more disciples to come to your side.
It's a good thing that we've gotten many.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can be seen on the show here. We have very many faces that have come up, very many new people that are in coffee. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing that at least now the visibility of coffee and people are getting to know coffee, So it's a good thing that we've seen very many new faces come through.
Yeah.
And it's very, very massive when you look out there. People are joining the coffee industry.
Yeah.
Like someone tells you, okay, I watched this show, I heard about this, I read about this in coffee, and I decided to come and study coffee.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
So we're doing a good job.
Yeah, we're doing a good job. Well done, the coffee break.
Well, apart from that, what have you been up to? I've seen on your social media, you're still doing your GNN. For those of you who don't know, Amon has his page, Gather Now Network on YouTube. You should head over there. Some very good content. You should actually follow him and, let another person know, support Amon. He has good stuff. Just go there and check it out. I also saw some of your posts, some coffee stuff. I think you're running some trainings and all this. What have you been up to basically?
Well, it's been a roller coaster because, as Uganda went on, yes, we haven't fully opened up, but people have started moving.
Yeah.
So back to our businesses, like the coffee shops, different businesses of coffee. People are starting to crowd it.
Yeah.
The queue is so much. So we tend to get together as different parties in the coffee industry, so that we can bring back the egg game in the coffee industry, because how you sit down and relax because you've not been busy. People you've been receiving 10 a day, 20 a day, but now people have started coming back. It means you have to be prepared for Jan come 2022 when the guy said it's going to open up. So we've been in preparations. We've been in preparations to open up. So doing trainings, doing coffee awarenesses, putting everything in touch, it's supposed to be here, let it be here. Give it a direction, the right direction where it's supposed to be, we give it that direction. So that's what we've been up to. But besides that, no more stuff. GLN, work, something like that.
Well, it's good that you guys have really been running all these programs, and that is what we want to focus, our show on today. But before we get there, we're still getting to know. You've been doing awareness. The economy is getting back to the place where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to open up January, hopefully. But with this new variant coming in, you also really can't be sure, if the economy will really open. So, with the people coming back, in the event that we don't open in January, and maybe we go through another lockdown, are there some strategies that you guys have come up with to make sure that, you don't go back into a pitfall like it was before?
It's going to be hard not to open up. It's really, really going to be. A country sitting or being locked for 2 years, what it means to the economy. So that's why even the president of Uganda, when he was addressing a couple of weeks ago, he said, come what may, we're opening up in Jan. But in an event where something goes wrong and we don't open up, before, how companies have coped up, through the use of food companies, through the use of the internet, you know, to distribute their products, besides the beverages, but the products. Coffee has different products, as you know. But companies have adopted to that. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I told him, do you know there are various guys who are not going to let spaces come next year? They won't rent because they will realize, okay, I've been paying over 10 million a month for this space, but I've been making over maybe 15 million or 20 million. And now you're telling me to rent a space whereby in a lockdown, at least I've achieved my 11 million. Okay, so they will weigh the two options, and they're like, okay, why not? So it's going to be hard to see people grumble for spaces, grumble for what. So they will adopt to this internet because they have really mastered how it's being done. Actually, when you asked me at the beginning what we've been up to, like, we've been trying to see what new options can we have to market our different products of coffee. How can we use the internet very well? Because you can never understand the internet like fully. Even those who are like leads on the internet, they still go back and research, you know. So we've also been trying to do different researches, you know, getting curious about how best can we do this, how best can we market our coffee products, how best can we reach different audiences in the coffee industry. That's why, okay, a company I work with is Enduro Coffee. That's why you're seeing, besides the lockdown, Enduro Coffee is opening up various branches. You find yourself in Kapchora, there is a branch. In Buama, there is a branch. Around town, there are like over 3 branches that have opened up, and more are coming. So that's the kind of work that we've been like trying to do. So if we don't open up, it will be easy for us, because at least now we are next to our customers. You know, if you're around, maybe let me say Naria, if I have a branch around maybe Chiwatle, I can easily walk over there. Okay, my bike, you know. So instead of like coming from Cementi, going to Naria, that distance, even the coffee will get cold, or whatever product I'm transferring will get cold or bad, because coffee is a perishable good, you know that. So it's easy for us like to connect. The distance is not long. That's one way. But also, like I said, the use of the internet. The use of the internet. So we need to adopt to that, because people have realized that the internet can do more good than harm.
True.
I was seeing in town, and just even here, just outside the studio, the user guys have decided to make, you know, mobile shops for coffee. Okay, so does Enduro have any plans of the same, or you guys are just sticking to, you know, permanent structures?
Yes. Okay, now the spokesperson of Enduro right here. Yes, Enduro, you know, Enduro's vision is ensuring vulnerability globally through coffee and other related products by partnering with others. So Enduro Coffee, it doesn't have those stores or those juicers or those small bikes, no. But for it, what it did was, okay, how can we get through the community deep down by not going there as a bicycle or with a car or with a van, but we need to be in the community with them, physically with them, live with them, give them jobs, you know. So besides the Enduro Coffee Limited company, what they decided to do was, okay, I think I used the wrong word over there. What we decided to do, what we decided to do was, let's go to the community, and we started up the project called the Enduro Community Project. So this Enduro Community Project is all about like going down to the people, giving them jobs, but they have stalls in these communities. You'll find a stall in Kamocha, you find a stall in downtown Chisenyi, you find a stall in like those small communities. This is because not everyone can afford a cup of coffee at 10K or 12K. But this cup of coffee by Enduro Coffee Community Project, you find a cup of coffee at 1,500, but a good cup of coffee, not like the one they will take at 10K. So this is one of reaching out compared to, okay, I'm not trying to diminish this whole van projects.
Yeah.
They are good because they improve or they increase coffee consumption in Uganda.
Yeah.
But for us, we decided to do it that way because coffee is people. Instead of coming and go away, okay, I'm going to come and park here today, and you find me here with my van with an espresso machine doing coffee, and then tomorrow you find me in Chireka. No, first we're like, let's stay here. We live in people, given the fact that coffee is people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's actually good to see that we're using coffee to, reach some people in the community. Do you have any examples or any stories of, certain lives that have been changed? I know that you're always up and down in Kapchora, here and there. So I know that you must have met some people or heard of some stories where people's lives were changed because of the work you guys are doing. If you could just share that with us.
I do trainings of different baristas that we get into. I don't do like outside trainings, but I do trainings of in-house. So when I'm called certain times to go and train or orient these people, the smile I see on their faces, the reactions I see when I'm interacting with them is so touching. Because they realize that, okay, we've been knowing coffee, but we didn't know that coffee is as good as this when we've added value on it.
Yeah.
There is a lady called Mariam. She's doing, she's in these NGO community projects. Mariam, she lives in, she left Mubende here to Kampala, but she didn't have a job. Okay, she got, how you can leave the village and you come to town, like you stay with your auntie or uncle, and you're expecting your uncle or aunt to get your job, and things don't work out.
Kampala refuses.
Kampala refuses, So Mariam stays there, not until she heard about this project. And because there's a team that runs it. So she registers for this project. And Enduro Coffee or Enduro Community calls her. So when she reaches, they tell her what she's going to do and everything. So they give her the orientation. Of course, now that's me giving her the orientation. She's like, Amon, did you know that we grow coffee at home, but I didn't know all these things? So you see how coffee is changing the life of this person. She's getting to realize, okay, I would have utilized this opportunity way back, but I didn't know about it. So the ignorance in around people at least is going to shift a little bit so that they can get awareness about coffee. And that's how it's going to change the lives of people. Because now, just imagine someone is having a stall of coffee, a courtesy of Enduro Community, and now is making maybe 10 cups of coffee, literally, like averagely. Okay, the boda guy, maybe a certain Musa over there has come. Oh, Mariam, because it's now to be their usual, So you're giving this person a culture of taking coffee. You're changing his life. So that's the impact of coffee through this lady called Mariam.
Interesting story. Would love to see more of those stories actually happening. And I know they are there, just that sometimes we're really not exposed to them. But I believe that coffee is actually changing lives.
People are being changed by coffee, especially the fact that now Uganda, what it's doing is a very, very good thing. Like, at least has made sure that coffee products are enriched within the people. How much they don't know them so much, but if someone is passing somewhere, they see a coffee, maybe flyer, maybe a coffee shop somewhere, maybe a coffee message somewhere on TV. Okay, they'll be like, you see, what would they? But at least they have seen it. Then next time when they see it, they react to it. That's a good thing.
It's not like back in the time when we had only Kawa coffee. That's the only
Coffee, Kawa
Now we know a bit more about coffee. Well, if you've just tuned into the show, this is the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. The Messiah is back. He's here with us in the studio. He has been out getting converts, and you've seen some of the converts on the show. We've been having really very good discussions, and today we're going to discuss some more stuff with Amon in the studio. But we'll take a break right now. But remember, we are live on our Facebook, our YouTube, and our Twitter. Make sure to tune in. If there's someone who needs to be watching the show, just let them know we're on. We're going to take a break right now. Don't go anywhere. Grab a cup of coffee. We'll be right back after this.
I think most female feel like being a barista is more of a male job, or being a farmer is a male thing, or being a quality controller. Yet they don't know that there are other perfect people that we are looking at. So we want to bring this gender equality into the coffee business. I would thank this the International Women Coffee Alliance. It has really done a very good job to encourage women into the coffee business. When you look at coffee farmers or coffee processors, most of them are women. When you look at the quality controllers, they say that women are the best coffee testers. Why? Because they're very subjected to spices when they're cooking. They get a lot of flowers from us. So they test a lot of things, ice cream, yogurt, sweets, what. So they are good cup testers. Yes.
So most of them should actually, take opportunity.
I would actually encourage all the female to participate in the coffee business, whether owning a coffee shop, whether analyzing coffee, barista, farming. We really need them.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. Remember, we are live on our Twitter at HTV1, that's House of Talent Uganda, on our Facebook at House of Talent Uganda, and on our YouTube at House of Talent Uganda. Live stream, make sure to catch the show. And if you can't catch it right now, you can always catch it later. There will be a replay. But in the house with me today is Amon Mukisa, aka the Coffee Messiah, back from going out there and just spreading the coffee gospel. He's been doing really great things out there with different programs with Endiro, training different baristas. It's always amazing to meet a barista and, you tell him, I know this guy called Amon, and he starts saying, but I know Amon is the one who taught me A, B, C, D.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling,
Yeah, it's always a nice feeling. Today's topic, the last show we had Katawazi Gerald inside here, and
it was a nice show.
You watched the show. So he was talking about how Uganda is actually the second highest when it comes to coffee production, after Ethiopia in Africa. Okay, and I think the goal of UCDA is to either match Ethiopia or even be greater than that. But we came to the realization that from the past, if we go back to SST in primary school, there was something that we called cash crops. So we had coffee and then we had cotton. So basically what the missionaries or the white people did back in the day, they gave us this thought of, when you grow coffee, you want to make money out of coffee. And I think that the same thing has stuck till today. If you go, like the example you gave us with that lady that is working with, the Endiro community program, she says they grow coffee at home, but she had no idea that coffee could actually do all these things. Because in their minds, when you grow the coffee, sell the berries, your work is done. They don't realize that we can actually also consume the same coffee. So our topic for today is how the different stakeholders have to play their part in this coffee industry to make it better. And perhaps we'll start with the farmers themselves, because that is where everything starts. We have a situation whereby a farmer has never taken coffee in his life, but he has acres of coffee. So how can these farmers play their part in the coffee industry of Uganda to make it get better, to help us become #1 in Africa, but also to make sure that coffee itself in Uganda is really put above other things like tea and all this stuff?
Well, I'm to be honest to you, gone are the days when we had farmers who are illiterate growing different crops. grown coffee, grown cotton. These days, we have literate farmers who have gone to school, who have graduated in farming practices, agriculture, you know. Last time Ibra was here saying that he studied biochemistry, by something like that, but she's also related to crops or farming. So these days we have literate farmers. So it makes me wonder, why don't we have good practicing methods, farming methods, deep down in our farms that cannot bring us to a point whereby we're going to reach a certain time and we are falling into a ditch. Okay, if it was like maybe farmers are illiterate these days, they would say, okay, we need trainings for these farmers. But when you look at the farmers these days, they're illiterate. So I would say farmers need to be trained. Yes, not all are trained, but why don't we utilize these people who have gone to school, who have graduated in this industry, to do these things, at least to train these farmers? But also, you see the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, yes, it has tried its level best to at least ensure that farmers know what they do. At least they have done that by at least knowing each farmer in Uganda. Okay, you cannot know each and specific farmer, but like an association that runs them. That's why I've recently called up, like, if you want to start growing coffee in Uganda, you have to register. So this is like a plan, or this is like a strategy to plan for these farmers. Okay, if we have 5,000 farmers in a village, how are you going to plan for them? How are you going to have them grow the best coffee in the village, so that when it's exported or brought, it's being affected by this pest. But for it, it's just from the root, so you just see the plant dying. So it's so bad that it's happening. But if farmers know how to deal with this, at least maybe if I know that my coffee plant is maybe 8 meters or 12 meters away from the other coffee plant, if this pest attacks this coffee plant, the other one, at least it will take long when I realize it early now. So instead of like putting here a coffee tree and then you put the coffee tree next to each other. So such things, farmers need to know them, so that when they're doing this and it's exported, or it's it's harvested and then brought to the consumption part of it, we don't have a bad quality cup of coffee, or we don't have a bad quality type of coffee that's coming on market. Because at the end of it all, it will affect the overall consumption of coffee, or the overall coffee market in Uganda. So the mistake done by the farmer will affect the end result of the coffee consumption or the coffee chain. But the good thing done by the farmer, it will represent the good things like at the end.
Two questions before we move on to the next category. One, do you think it would be a good idea for us to put a cap on how much coffee we actually export? Because if we're exporting 80% and we're consuming 20%, okay, wouldn't it be a wise thing to say, okay, you know what, 50% goes out, 50% stays here, so we force people here to actually consume the coffee? You know, what are your thoughts about that?
You see, one thing I love about being America is that you get conversations around various people. So last week, as I was on station, sometimes I get back on station and work, you know, because it's a good thing to interact, have that skill going. So this lady works with Uber, the other side in Europe, London. So she comes at my station, she asks for an espresso. She asks me, how much is it? I tell her it's 6K. She's like, what? Your coffee is too expensive here. And yet you sell coffee, you grow coffee here. And I asked her, how much would this amount cost a cup of coffee in London? She told me 6K here. The way you sell your coffee here, in London, 6K can buy 3 cups of coffee. Then I realized that's why in London, or UK, or US, in those countries, even this person we see that Abelak Street lives on a street can be able to buy a cup of coffee compared to us in Uganda. So to answer your question, I think it's a point of UCDA or policymakers, which is the government, coming up with various ways on how to reduce the expensive what are you going to use, like the commodity that you're selling on market. How are you going to value it so that you as a government can benefit, so that you can run the country also, but me as the person who's also buying it, I benefit, like not buying it so much compared to other countries. So policymakers have to do this for us, not us people who are taking coffee, because when I jam not taking coffee, the government won't benefit, because I pay tax on that cup of coffee. I also benefit by maybe getting the healthy part of it and maybe, you know, enjoying coffee. But to help us arrive to this point of like having coffee be reduced in terms of pricing, it's the government that has to do that. Me as a person, I don't have authority. I even don't have my authority on that.
Yeah, you see, we're discussing with Katawazi last week, and like today we're discussing, you know, what are the roles of different people, and each stakeholder has their part, and each stakeholder should have their voice. Okay, so we came across topics like, do we even have a barista association or a barista forum? Do we have a farmers forum that has a voice? You know, so it's like the coffee industry has so many detachments.
Yeah, Emma, you see, thing is, these things are there. There's a farmers association. There are baristas associations. But the arm that's taking the, I'm not trying to criticize the UCDA here, but the arm that's taking the coffee industry in Uganda is paying so much attention to less important things compared to things that are more important. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Of recent, there was a Dubai Expo. So whereby you go there and you exhibit your things as a country. Rwanda took that whole virtual thing of tourism. Uganda, you know what we took, part of it. But my point is, when we take people out there to expose or to exhibit our coffee, you know the people we took? The people on top were on station, like exhibiting our coffee. Why don't you get a Uganda barista champion who's there right now? Michael, for example, to go and be on this station. Before you be on this planning level, why don't you take the baristas? Why don't you take the farmers to at least get in touch with these people out there? Because when this person is talking to this farmer, they will feel that, you know, their intuition, like they will feel like they will be connected with them. Okay, you're the person who grows this coffee. How is it like? You're the person who brews this cup of coffee. What challenges do you go through? How can we help? But if you're this person who plans for the coffee industry on top, why would you come back on station? And yet you have various capable people who can do that. So your point of like having different associations and different roles played by different people in different categories of coffee, it's good, but the people responsible to align them is not doing that job.
Okay, perhaps before we go for a break, you know, you touched on something important there. You say that at the expo, okay, they took people from up there, okay, which means that there are people down, you know, on this spectrum that are really not being taken care of. And the role of UCDA and all these other coffee or agricultural associations is to basically see that even the last man, even the person who produces the least amount of coffee, okay, has to be heard, has to be given a voice, okay? So why do we find ourselves in a situation whereby it's only the big people. Is it that the government, okay, is not doing its part in regulating UCDA, or UCDA itself, okay, is not doing its part in trying to control what happens down here?
I would say it's UCDA itself, because in most cases the government will come up to put into action what the UCDA requests to do. Not the government coming to UCDA and like, okay, UCDA, what can we do for you? Why don't UCDA go to the government and say like, you know, government, we have this plan A and B, we need to execute it like this. Please help us, give us funds, give us this and this and this, so that we can execute it. So it's not the government, it's the authority or the department. Because the government put up this department to help this person, to help the coffee industry go back to, you know, when we had the coffee hype back in the 1990s, it was a good thing, everyone was feeling good. But since then, we've never had a coffee hype the way we had it in 1990s. So when the government came up and put up the UCDA authority, or the UCDA arm, it was like, okay, let's use this arm, or let's use this department to at least keep our coffee on top. Globally, because Uganda, as you all know, it has the best coffee in the world. Just because maybe we don't have the right strategies, the right marketing strategies, the right production strategies to make sure that we've exposed our coffee as the best in the world. So UCDA has to do that. Not the government, not me, not the farmer, because the UCDA has to put impact on the farmer, they put impact on the barista who's brewing coffee, they put impact on the person who's buying coffee to sell it. That's how it's going to help us.
Well, if you're just tuning into the show, this is the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. Amon is giving us his views on why Ugandan coffee is actually not getting to where it's supposed to be, and we'll be getting into solutions. How do we get there, you know, with all these issues that we are facing? We're going to take a break right now, but remember, you can always send us your comments. Be a part of the show, be a part of the change that is supposed to happen in the coffee industry. We can't change it alone. We have to work with you out there. You're a barista, you're a farmer, you're a roaster, you're just a consumer. You just go, you know, to the coffee shop to take coffee. You have a voice. Let us know down in the comment section. We'll probably be reading that, you know, after this break. But let's get into a break right now. This is the Coffee Break Show, House of Talent Television. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. We'll be right back after this.
My first advice to my students, the people I train, the people I talk to, is that at every stage of coffee, from the farm to the cup, you can gain something. So I first get to know, like, you as you, what's your passion? Is it going to the garden? Is it going to the factory? Or is it like being a supplier? First of all, we are working for people. We're working for people. But our dreams are being self-employed. Yes. So in coffee, if I'm mentoring you, if like I want you to get something good, improve on your life, me, I can pass through roasting. I can teach you how, like I can teach you or train you the part of coffee roasting. So within that process, you like will be making some money somewhere, and where does that money comes from? You buy your coffee, you roast, you pack it and you sell.
Yeah.
Of course, there are many cafes that are opening. We have our organizations here in Uganda, like they are boosting up the consumption. We have business people that are starting up cafes, but there is that gap. There is that gap of supply. There is that gap of supply. Big companies are exporting, but we can also be the big company at our youth stage. We roast our coffee, we pack it, and we sell it. Let me take another example. You can be a good person in computer graphic designing. So when I introduce that idea, you can plan the way of branding that coffee. How we can market that coffee. Yes. So we can at the end of the process, me and you will be having something to put in the pocket or to save on the account.
Welcome back to the show. We're having a very great discussion with Amon Mukisa about, the situation that is facing Ugandan coffee. Why has it stagnated and how can we get it to the place where it's supposed to be? He was giving an example of the Dubai Expo where we really didn't do that good, but also I believe that, it's a point of learning. We always have to learn from all these things that happen. Just that, it doesn't have to be repetitive, because if we have an opportunity like that and we repeat the same thing, then we say we're totally not learning. We had a barista who came to the show some time back, and he was saying he also bags his own coffee, and he was saying that when you go to the supermarkets and you give them your coffee, package it really well, and you make sure that it's really appealing to the eye, they'll get that coffee and put it in the last stalls or down somewhere there and hide it. And the coffee that is put up is basically coffee from outside, And you also have processed coffee, you have stuff like Nescafe that is there, and basically coffee from other countries, So why is it that our coffee is shelved away, down there, and by the time people buy it, it's actually stale? So people have a very bad experience, and they think, Ugandan coffee doesn't taste good, but because they bought a stale one, How do we get those people's coffee to come up to the top of the shelves and push the others, not way down, but put ours up there? What part do those people play? The coffee, the supermarket guys, the suppliers and all this.
You see, Emma, I've never really been a fan of buying coffee from the supermarket or even supporting coffee to be sold in supermarkets. You know why?
Why?
Coffee is a perishable good. You never find those guys in the supermarkets giving attention to coffee just like the way they give attention to maybe apples, maybe flowers. Never. Sometime back, Maurice, do you know Maurice Kia? He's also a business guy besides being a musician, and he's in coffee. So he was asking me about that whole idea of taking his Sound Cup coffee into supermarkets. I'm like, Maurice, you've been in this industry for quite a while. When you go to buy coffee in the supermarket, what's your experience? Compared to buying coffee, maybe from a coffee shop or a coffee brand that you're buying that coffee from. So that when something goes wrong, you can trace it. That whole part of it is a speciality in the other side of coffee. But in this type of business, when something goes wrong, it's like buying a product from Cafe Java's. Maybe you've bought a cake, and then you find some part of it is not well prepared, but you're just outside, you have a right to go back to Cafe Java and say, guys, look, see what happened. But now you've bought a product of Cafe Java's in a supermarket and you found the same challenge. Where will you go? When you go to the supermarket, guys, and you're like, you know what, guys, look at your cake.
It will be a long process.
Yeah, it will be a long process, and that's time consuming. But the thing is, me, I would suggest that having coffee in supermarkets, okay, it's not a bad idea because it's helping us expose or improve coffee awareness. Because people, as they're going around the store, they will see coffee. Okay, kanukachi, it's a coffee bag. What's inside? Let me buy it, maybe. But in terms of quality, no, I give it a 0 over there. Because when you have coffee in a supermarket, you're not monitoring it. You don't know how those guys are handling coffee. They even maybe don't know anything about coffee, you know, compared to having a coffee product or a coffee bag in a certain coffee premise or a coffee shop or a coffee company, and they know that, okay, you know what, this is our coffee, we roasted it on Monday, which means by Monday next week it has to be done. Those are the methods such companies have to use, compared to taking your coffee in a supermarket and it's going to be put down on a shelf, and I come, maybe I'm buying Anodi's coffee, you know, it's like, okay, Anodi's coffee is good, I've tested it, I've had good reviews on it, let me go and try it. On reaching home, trying it, you're just running down, you know. Yeah, so it's not a good thing to have coffee in the supermarkets. If it's possible for you to have your coffee sold in your premises, please do that. That's one thing actually I would advise people to do. Like, if you're a coffee producing company, the fact that you have funds of roasting coffee, packaging it, branding it, basically you've gone through other chains of coffee, like for it to be as a final product. Why don't you get a space? Why don't you get an online platform? Because that's what we're adopting these days. Have a cameraman, have nice shots taken, have a website. Okay, that's expensive, but you can start with Instagram, you can start with Facebook, you can start with Twitter. Have good visuals, put the price tag, put the contacts where they can call you. Market it well. See whether you not sell that coffee and people like your product. Compared to taking it in a supermarket, and it's going to take 3 months without buying that cup of coffee. And when they buy it, they will say, I know this coffee is bad. Yet in actual sense, your coffee is good. So just utilize those spaces, utilize the information that you get here on the coffee break, at least to make better decisions when you're dealing with coffee.
Interesting. I'm you're a barista and you've been doing this for a while. You're also a trainer. And one of the issues, some guys have talked about it on the show, is that most baristas have, I like to say, half knowledge. Okay, they only know their part as far as it comes to the station. I can make a cappuccino, I can make a latte, I can make an espresso, I can talk to, you know, have a good relationship with my customers and my boss, and that is mostly where their knowledge stops. Okay. That brings into question, okay, what are we doing in these coffee schools? Because for someone to totally understand what coffee is, all right, they have to get a complete understanding. And to understand what coffee is in Uganda, you have to understand coffee from the past, okay, what has been happening, what are the different developments, what are the different organizations doing, okay, what kind of research. We had a guy called Owen who was on the show, said that he was doing a lot of research in coffee, okay, but you find that baristas actually don't know this information, okay. So you as a barista, okay, what can we do to make sure that baristas don't have only on-station knowledge, but have a wholesome kind of knowledge when it comes to coffee, especially in Uganda?
Let me ask you a question. Just a brief one. Did you, when you went to school, to journalism school, did they tell you how to interact with me, to say the exact words you're saying to me right now?
No, they didn't tell us the exact words, but there's a structure.
My point is, in coffee schools, they're going to give you basics. They're going to show you how something is done. Then it's your initiative to go down the road of research, that coffee school. You're not going to exhaust everything. Never. Never. You just have to be so much self-oriented that you're going to make research. Read about things. Ask questions. And learn. That's how you're going to know this information. Because in coffee schools, like you said, they teach them how to be, okay, like you said, that baristas know how to make a cappuccino, just interact with maybe a certain dealer has come on station, they interact with him, and that's all. And then they go back home. But they have forgotten that they have to read about, okay, why am I using this cup of coffee? Or 250 mils of cup of coffee, or 180 mils of cup of coffee. You know, why is it that I have to hold coffee a certain way? Why is it that when a customer comes to me, I have to leave what I'm doing somehow and I first give them attention? You know, then we can go back to it if at all, you know, they want to stay for longer as we interact. Such things. So when you rely on only the information that you got from schools, mu Uganda bagamba nkusasidde. So that's it. You just have to make more research on your own so that you get to learn more things. Then compare and contrast them. How do you do that? Ask questions for people who taught you, or people who are above you. Because even me, there's a certain lady called Millie. I tend to ask her, she's a coffee genius, she's a lady. I tend to ask her a lot of questions. I bug her with questions. And sometimes she's like, but I can't believe you didn't know this. But there's the fact, I didn't. I just wanted to know. So she just assumes that I knew, but I didn't know. So that's one way. You just don't have to assume that you know everything. No. You don't know everything. You just have to ask. For example, if you went to a certain school, the teacher or the tutor who taught you has a lot of information. But the way of disseminating this information to your small head of yours, because it's a lot of information, they can't put it into your head at one day or in two days or 3 months. No. So as you work on stations or in the company or you're in, get time, visit this guy. Say, okay, you know what, Diallo, I learned about this. How is it like? How best can I do it? They say here that you have to put maybe 70 mils to get this amount of coffee as a result or yield. Is it true? Then this guy can give you his perception. Then you can go back and read. Then if you find something that backs his perception, take that. That's how you get to increase on the information. Interesting. As a barista.
Someone said that, you know, there is what we call YouTube University.
That's how it. That YouTube University is only used by the people who understand it. Because when you go to a YouTube University, there is a lot of information there. I can wake up one day, I go on YouTube, I bring my camera here, I look into that camera, I start saying whatever I want. I don't care whether it's true or false. So that's why I'm like, only wise ones who go to YouTube University.
Well, if you've just tuned into the show, we're talking to Amon about, you know, the different part that the different stakeholders play when it comes to this coffee game, the coffee value chain. We've talked about the baristas, we've also talked about the farmers, we've talked about the supermarkets, which tend to push our coffee down in the shelves, and by the time we have an experience with it, it's really not that good. We have talked about how to promote, how to market the coffee using different social media websites. If you can start your own website, that's a really good thing, to be a good plus for you. But if you're looking for ideas, you're looking for, you know, different perspectives on what to do with your business, if you want to get into the coffee business, this is the best show for you. We're coming towards the end of the show, but before we get there, just a couple of more things. We've talked about the baristas, okay? I think one of the areas we really never touch about are the CEOs. these people who open up the coffee shops. Some actually.
I remember we touched about them.
Yeah, we touched about that. And knowing that now they have been in a hard spot. They haven't been making money. But now you get the good news that, you know what, we're opening in January. Okay? And your mind starts running to, I need to make money from my coffee shop. Okay? It's good that some of these guys are actually baristas or roasters, but some are just businessmen. Okay? For them, they know, I'm going to put a coffee shop, I'm going to make money. Okay? So what part do they play? Because if I'm just concerned about making money, I won't really care about, you know, what happens in the shop. I'll leave it to the head barista. I don't really care what happens, you know, with the farmer. All I know is that my coffee needs to get here at a certain time. Okay? So what's the part that the CEOs play, especially those who know nothing about coffee?
Well, the part that CEOs play is the same part. When you literally bring it down, it's the same part that UCDA has to play generally in the coffee industry. So CEOs have to be able to provide what their specialists are saying. For example, if you have a company of coffee or cocktail, you're in a coffee business, do you have a structure of advisors? People who advise you on how best you're supposed to do things. For you, yes, you're there to make final decisions, giving money and make money. But do you have people who know what you want and can be able to put it into action? That's the one thing. So if you don't have that, it's going to be really, really hard for you next year. Because you find yourself, you're struggling to make ends meet, but you're not. That's why, by the way, you saw various coffee shops that opened up 2019, closed 2021. 2021 they're closed. Because they didn't have structures. And those that had structures are still standing. Take an example. Enduro Coffee. It has structures, it's still standing. Cafe Pub, it has structures, it's still standing. Cafe Javas, okay, some people say it's not a cafe, it's a restaurant. Yes, but it has structures, it is still standing. Okay? New Cafe, it has structures, it's still standing. All those coffee shops or coffee businesses that existed created structures that help them in states like these ones. So for CEOs, what I have to advise you is, one, please get structures that will help you in sometimes that difficult decisions have to be taken, because you won't make a certain decision without consulting this person who's in the farms, down in the farms with farmers. How is coffee that side? Because now I was getting certain information that coffee in Elgon region is becoming scarce these days, and I quite believe or suspect that in the coming years, like 2 or 3 years, coffee is going to be more expensive because now the fact that now it's becoming scarce. You know, Elgon region is one of the areas that give us most of the coffee. Then Rwenzori, then Central. So that's Western. So when we have different people in different departments who are seniors, specialists, they know what to do. For you just here, a CEO, of course, for a certain company, you're seated somewhere in your office. You're just waiting for a certain DLO to come, Emma to come with different ideas and different suggestions, and then in your wise mind you see, okay, this is a good suggestion, I can go with this. That's how you're going to survive. But otherwise, instead of you coming to maybe a coffee shop and you see paper all over your coffee shop, you're like, okay, business is booming, business is booming. At the end of it all, after 3 months of opening up or 5 months, people will be nowhere. Maybe because coffee is bad, maybe because the surface is bad, maybe because the infrastructure is bad. So all such things have to be put into consideration.
Well, our time is fast spent. I know that we can talk,
Yeah,
you know.
I
We can talk, you know, forever about coffee.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming onto the show. And just before we leave, okay, what are your next plans when you get out of here? I know it's a weekend. You know, are you going back to the coffee shop?
No.
Probably you have a date we don't know about. See you looking all fresh, you know.
No, I'm just going to have a GNA shoot because I have someone to host.
Yeah.
2 p.m. So yeah, I'll be hosting him, shoot an interview with him.
Okay.
Yeah. Then that I'll go and watch a football match. Man United. Yeah.
Yeah, Man U support.
I'm a Man U supporter. Now these days we have the best coach around.
Well, we'll end that show right here. That's a conversation
but it's good. It's good that I'm back on the show.
Yeah.
I've been missing these conversations. I know we've been trying to get in touch and have this conversation.
Yeah.
But it's good that we've had it, and yeah, it's good.
Well, I'd like to say welcome back.
Thank you.
It's good to have you back. For those of you who have been thinking of where the Messiah is, well, he's back, and it's a good thing that he has come back to the show. Maybe next weekend he'll be the one, you know, hosting the show with whoever we'll be having in the studio. But thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for staying with us on the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. I know you must have heard Amon saying the statement, a certain dialogue. Well, that certain Diallo is the one who makes us look good on the cameras. He's the one who does everything in the studio. And we'd like to say thank you to him, to Isma, who's there also on the switcher, you know, making sure that, you know, he shows you one side and the other side also. Basically, they're the guys who make things work here. And to the whole crew, basically, we just want to say thank you to you guys. Remember, you can always comment. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter, HTV1. Make sure to comment, like, let us know if you have any questions. But until next time, have a great day. Grab a cup of Ugandan coffee. Not other coffee, Ugandan coffee. We'll see you next time.
my first advice to my students, the people I train, the people I talk to, is that at every stage of coffee, from the farm to the cup, you can gain something. So I first get to know, like, you as you, what's your passion? Is it going to the garden? Is it going to the factory? Or is it like being a supplier? First of all, we are working for people. We're working for people, but our dreams are being self-employed. Yes. So in coffee, like, I can teach you or train you the part of coffee roasting. So within that process, you like will be making some money somewhere. And where does that money comes from? You buy your coffee, you roast, you pack it, and you sell. Of course, there are many cafes that are opening. We have our organizations here in Uganda, like, they are boosting up the consumption. We have business people that are starting up cafes, but there is that gap. There's that gap of supply. There's that gap of supply. Big companies are exporting, but we can also be the big company at our youth stage. We roast our coffee, we pack it, and we sell it. Let me take another example. You can be a good person in computer graphic designing. So when I introduce that idea, you can plan the way of branding that coffee, how we can market that coffee. Yes. So we can, like, at the end of the process, me and you will be having something to put in the pocket, or to save on the account.